Hello, my name's Tom Baldwin and I'm the head of the Department of Modern Languages at the University of Kent. I'm here to tell you a little bit about our Modern Languages degrees and to give you a sense of what to expect if you decide to come and study with us. The Department of Modern Languages is the largest department in SECL, the School of European Cultures and Languages. There's a wide variety of subjects taught in SECL, including not only modern languages, but also philosophy, theology and religious studies, classics and archaeology, comparative literature, English language and linguistics, and Asian studies. One significant advantage of this diversity, I think, is that you'll be studying alongside students working on very different things and with very different interests. You may also discover, though, that you have a lot more in common with a fellow student studying, say, philosophy or classics than you might have first thought. As a university, Kent is thoroughly outward-looking and international. We have partner universities all over Europe and further afield, in South America and Canada, for example. The Department of Modern Languages comprises 5 subjects: French, German, Italian, Hispanic Studies, and European Studies. As a modern languages student at Kent, you can study for a single honours language BA, a BA in European Studies, or you can study for a joint honours language BA. In terms of joint honours programmes, the emphasis is very much on flexibility and making languages work for you. You can study a language with another language, for example, or you can study a language with a different subject entirely. And here are some examples of the different kinds of subjects you can combine your language with. For all students of modern languages, there are 2 defined pathways. You can do a degree in a language you've never studied before, or which you've studied to GCSE level perhaps, or you can do a degree in a language you've studied at A level. By the end of your degree, irrespective of the pathway you've taken, you'll reach an advanced, so C1, C2 level. Single honours and joint honours students take the same number of language modules across their degree. If you study single honours or joint honours language or a language with any other subject, you'll spend your whole 3rd year doing either a university placement at a partner institution, a work placement, a British Council language assistantship, or a combination of a university placement and a work placement. As far as the Erasmus scheme is concerned, while we don't know what's going to happen as a consequence of Brexit, nobody does. Our partnerships with other universities are strong and we continue to develop new partnerships. We also very much hope that, like several other countries, the UK will opt to be a member of the Erasmus scheme, even though it's no longer a member of the EU. It's also worth bearing in mind, I think, that while university placements are quite popular, there are definitely other options and combinations at Kent for you to consider, so a language assistantship or a work placement, for example. So, why come to Kent for your modern languages degree? One answer is that you'll be taught by lecturers who are world-leading researchers in their field. So, besides your language modules, you'll take content modules, or cultural content modules, on cinema, linguistics, literature, politics, painting, photography, and other things besides. There's a strong focus in modern languages on research-led teaching, and modern languages at Kent ranked first in the UK for research quality, according to the Complete University Guide published in 2016, which is based on the most recent Research Excellence Framework, or REF. Another reason to come to Kent is that you'll be taught in small classes. 10 to 15 students is typical. Furthermore, Kent is not only the closest UK campus to Europe, it also has unique partnerships beyond Europe, in Cuba, for example. And here's at the bottom of your slide, you have a photo of some students in Cuba. These links and these partnerships create exciting learning, development and employability opportunities for our students. One example is our funded student internships in Havana, which, among other things, allow students to study at the University of Havana and to work as translators for a cultural magazine. And here is one of our students talking about her experience as a student intern in Cuba.
My aim when I went to the internship was to have an exchange of ideas, an exchange of what people actually thought about different things, not only about the Cuban perspective, but about South America. My name is Sarah Mondragon. I am a Hispanic student's final year, and I'm from the University of Kent. The university kindly gave us a bursary scholarship to go to Cuba for 3 weeks for an internship. The internship was in a cultural magazine aided by the Ministry of Culture. With the magazine, we had the opportunity to go to press conferences. We went to festivals as well. The work mostly involved translation and article writing. After the first days were a bit of a shock for me. I expected very different things, but after a while, after speaking to people, reading, you kind of understand why things are the way they are in Cuba. I would say that was a really good experience. I think it confirmed that I definitely want to work in translation in the future and also delve into the geopolitics of South America, which I find completely interesting.
Another example is our funded trips both within and outside the UK to conduct undergraduate dissertation research. And here's another student talking about her experience.
It was such a gift to be able to understand in an even more deeper sense the topic that I was investigating. Buongiorno, sono Rose e ho studiato l'italiano all'Università del Kent a Canterbury. For my final year's dissertation, I did research into Mussolini's portrayal of men under his politics and his propaganda, and as part of my research I was given funding from the university to go to Italy to visit libraries and architecture and museums to enhance my knowledge, I guess. Another of my highlights would have been my great knowledge of translation studies, because I started Italian as a beginner student, so I hadn't been given the opportunity to study translation before, which I began in my final year, and it taught me a lot about my own language as well as Italian that I was learning, and I loved it. We're very, very lucky to actually have a smaller cohort and a smaller group of teachers, because it's meant that the relationship between students and their professors has been much more personal and much more engaging, so it's allowed you to engage with the professor's studies and understand more deeply what they're teaching you, rather than just studying for the sake of having a degree. You know, having a personal relationship with someone allows you to understand things on their level and understand their culture almost as they would understand yours.
Finally, some figures. Italian at Kent was ranked second in both the Times Good University Guide 2020 and the Complete University Guide 2020. French at Kent scored 93.2 out of 100 in the Complete University Guide 2020. Hispanic Studies at Kent scored 92.8 out of 100 in the same university guide. Over 89% of final year modern languages and linguistics students were satisfied with the quality of teaching on their course in the Guardian University Guide 2020, and 94% of French graduates were in work or further study within 6 months. Now that final point I think is very important. The ability to speak another language is a real asset in the employment market, and prospective employers will value the fact that you have spent a year studying or working in another country. Within the commercial sector, The most popular destinations for our students are sales and export, international marketing, the travel industry, banking and financial services. There are also slightly more exotic career destinations. One of our recent joint honours graduates became a film publicist, and another joined Vogue magazine as a fashion manager. As a Kent Modern Languages student, you'll become part of a close and lively cohort. The images on this slide, I think, speak for themselves. There's an active Modern Languages Society that organises social events and more informal teaching events, for example. Each month, staff in Modern Languages organise a books and films evening, giving students the opportunity to watch and discuss a film or talk about a book with their lecturers and with each other, of course, in a more informal, relaxed setting. And you have a link to the Books and Films Club at the bottom of this slide. Modern Languages students are also very active on Instagram and other social media, actually. You can help to build this community and share your experiences. Now to an important question. How many hours will I have to be at uni? Well, here's an example timetable, and you'll see that it comprises lectures and seminars, language and content modules. This student is in class for 10 hours per week, but in addition to all of that, it definitely is what you make of it. There's a lot more to it, in other words, than attending 10 hours of classes. This student, for example, will also attend a one-to-one feedback session, a meeting to discuss learning and development opportunities, an essay writing workshop, a film screening and a careers event, as well as meet up with his or her tandem or language learning partner and socialise with other Modern Languages students and members of the Modern Languages Society. Okay, so if you have any questions about Modern Languages at Kent, please don't hesitate to contact either me, and you have my email address just there, or the recruitment officer for Modern Languages, and his name is Dr. Tobias Heinrich, and there is his email address. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to meeting you all soon.